Just gonna wait a couple seconds for everyone to have a comfortable position. Seat, drink, if you want to. And yeah, let's get to know each other first. Like, raise your hand if you, in your life, ever experienced performance review. Raise your hand. Then, raise your hand if you did performance review to employees. 1, 2, managers, locator, detected. Cool. And let me introduce myself. I like bikepacking. When you're thinking about bikepacking, you sometimes think about something like this, but also the fair part of it, it looks like this. It was a super chilly morning that time. I like snowboarding, and I'm doing software engineering for Klein & here. And you might be wondering, why am I talking about the perfect performance review? Actually, I'm privileged in a way, since I'm not a manager and I can speak my mind. So yeah, that's why I'm here. We're gonna start with, obviously, what is the performance reviews in the beginning, and the answer is, like, when I started to research, it got like really complicated. Every single book, every single manager has its own definition. Like, either it's like multiple components, some very verbose definitions of it, but I wanted to wrap it down and make it like, explain it to a kid. And it's basically a process. I didn't come up with more specific definition, but it is a process of something that we're gonna decompose later. The process of continuous feedbacks or check-ins, the process of project-based reviews, peer assessments, 360-degree feedback. You might think of it like this. It was super complicated to find the proper memes for this topic. You don't even imagine which hell of corporate schemas I passed through to make it a bit interactive. Graphic rating scales. I'm gonna come back with some definitions to help you to understand if you haven't met all of those. What else? Self-assessments. Please. Management by objectives, OKRs, data-driven decision and AI integration, which is important right now, skill development, growth evaluation, and annual reviews only. Some of those can include others, but for instance, for continued feedbacks and check-ins, they are relatively understandable. You check in with your employee, asking how is it going. If it's cool. If it's not cool, you come up with follow-ups. With the project-based reviews, you base your reviews on the project success, and from the project success, you inform the employee about their performance reviews. Peer assessments for the peers that the employee worked with, the closest ones he knows and the closest ones you think he worked with. 360-degree is about the combination of it. So when you're just gathering some pieces of information from the employee itself, which is self-assessment, number 6, from the peers of employee, from yourself, and maybe adding some graphic rating scales, which is basically the how to say, when the company decide which metrics will be used to evaluate the employee, they come up with some graphics, and on these graphics you have, like, strengths 5, intelligence 10, agility 10, and that is basically performance review. Self-assessment, you saw it with the parrot. You need to identify yourself. Management by objective OKRs. OKRs, for those who don't know, it's objective key results, the focus of the company. If you're following it, you're cool. If you're not following it, you are underperformer, or meeting the role expectations but never getting upper it. data-driven decision making and AI integration. That's interesting one. Just because if you asked me 2 years ago, it was not existing. It was some curious developers, yeah, let's go for it. Andrei adding it to his project and stuff, but it was never into the focus. Nowadays, it is. Nowadays, on the interview processes, you will be asked, and if you didn't say as a first task, first step, you do approaching some complicated problems, not asking AI, that might be not a red flag but a yellow flag. So companies also trying to adapt it in all possible and impossible ways. So they want as more ideas as they want at this step. Ask me in a year how it goes. Skill development and growth evaluation. Something close to graphic rating scales, but graphic rating scales is designed by companies, but skill development is something measurable across the companies, and you might know I'm really good in front end, but I'm not so good in back end, but I'm very good in communication skills, so it's something like that. And growth evaluation is more history based of your interaction with the company, with collaboration, how far you go, how far you want to, and how your manager helping you about it. And the annual, obviously, performance review, which is obviously the combination of some of those. Now, those are the not only elements, but performance review methods. The management like to call it frameworks. I used to think of the frameworks as something different, closer to development, but yeah. Now, a bit more stop with the peer assessment. There was actually the idea, why should I talk about it? We were basically talking with a friend, thinking of the methods of peer assessment. Either it's open or anonymous. Open is when you and your manager knowing whom to ask, and I ask Andrei about how do I do, what can I improve, and maybe some other comments. Also, I ask other not random, but other employees I worked with, and I know who gave me this feedback. The anonymous is basically when the manager is a filter. The manager doing literally the same, but you don't know which peers were asked. And the manager is gatherer of it, is also parsing it later, and come up with a softened objective from his perspective or her perspective, review, trying to motivate you, and at the same time pass down the real review he got. It obviously has some pros and cons. Let's stop here. For the first one, the transparency and trust is definitely a plus, just because you know who did it, so there is no blaming the filter part of a manager. It's super easy to follow up and clarify with people why or how, what did you mean here when you're saying it's backend architecture? Do you mean I need to connect it to a database or something? So just you can be very specific about it, just because you know whom to ask. But the risk is basically the ocean of positive feedback, just because people asking why should I give him bad one? Next time he can give me bad one, and it's getting very biased in a sense, I would say, and every critical piece of the feedback becoming very important there, and also very risky in a sense that you can ruin relationship with those people. The next one is more honest, more objective, just because people tend to really part their minds when it's anonymous. You all know these surveys at work, and if it's not anonymous, it's either not used, either super positive, maybe some very softened questions, but when it's anonymous, that is the moment when the game starts. Reduced bias, safer for critical feedback. For sure, just because not all the people know how to say, well, I can tell from my side, when I was like starting my career, in the beginning it was entirely, well, fine in that company to put a comment in the PR, that's shit. That's probably not the best performance review that you want to see in like your peers assessments rounds. So that's why the manager needs to really soften it, like not shit, but area for improvement. It sounds differently, and in this way I kind of like the corporate second language. It's less accountability if you don't have trust with the manager, and risk of harsh criticism, also limiting the dialogue. It really depends on the manager, I would say. That's why I added here. These minus could be tackled by the very experienced manager who with some time built a trust with you and you build trust with him. It should be the dance of two, otherwise this will not work. Now we wanted to think of like which method should be chosen based on the company size. Some methods are more expensive in the time, in the resources, in the peers, and in the people who need to be involved in it. Some are not that expensive. So for the smaller ones, I decided there was those three. I decided they're going to be those. Mostly the continuous feedbacks and check-ins, and the rest which are not blocking fast-moving pace, which are not blocking fast hiring, fast layoffing as well. Small companies are known for that. Bigger ones too, but yeah, small ones just booming and we don't even see it. For the bigger ones, it's basically all, just because the bigger ones mostly have resources for it, and they can afford like follow-upping on months, doing it like how much time to invest it they want. So basically all of it. But to be frank, some of the companies are changing, and the Adobe, Microsoft, Google, and they're moving to narrowing down from all the tools they have to the tools that are more efficient, and to the just informal feedbacks. Like I said, if you build a trust with the manager, you know that this feedback is important. Also, if you are, as a good employee, good developer, good individual contributor, thinking that you could grow somewhere, you trust it, you take it, it's cool. You don't need more follow-ups. You don't need other peer assessments and stuff, just because it kind of happening with the manager, just because manager is doing this in a informal check-ins, not only with you but also with your peers. So it's all in one, still on manager, but I kind of like the way where it is going. Now the interesting part, the politics. When I was preparing the talk, I think I redid the whole presentation maybe 4 times, and I decided to stop with not calling politic, and decompose it. So because when we talk about politics, we also mean company strategy. If company want to grow, if company want to settle down a bit and strengthen the core, if it's AI tool integrations or optimizing the resources, those like pillars can affect the performance reviews. And sometimes you know about it, sometimes it's like verbally articulated, sometimes it's not. So it's more than that. For instance, for expanding the product, the incorrigible pillars of your performance review will be creativity, innovation, adaptability, flexibility, market insights, and some other experiments that they won't afford right now, and they want you to follow that for the strength in the core. Obviously not. Sorry, it was. I mean, trust me, it's super complicated to make it interactive. its quality and reliability. When you are trying to narrow down the zoo of technologies you grew on the discovery phase and want to put standards in it, like with Andrew talk, when you just once have like one manual person who is checking all the reports, later you automate it with AI, but now you also need to put some standards in it. First you just throw there a bunch of on-call developers, and then you put some standards. So probably on strengthening the core, you'll fix this issue. AI tools integration. Like I mentioned before, mandatory, not nice to have, but mandatory at the moment. So if you're not interested, you have to. Which come up with a learning agility that will be encouraged, will be part as a metric, maybe some like Boolean, like yes if employee has it, no if it's not, but in general, yes, it has to be there. Utilizing some insights, and later on, as predicting the future, they're going to be a person, or the person will be for sure encouraged to optimize the cost of it, because we are at the moment in the exploration phase of the tools, of the possibilities of it, and later on, when the use cases for it will be closed, the question of how much are we actually paying for it will be answered. And the first one answer, this one will get a raise. Optimizing resources and processes, also known as layoffs. Achieving goals using faster, fewer resources of time, being proactive more than colleagues, maximizing impact with available resources and stuff is basically being the best of class. They survive. This is the only hint that could be handed here. And let's get to conclusions. An ideal performance review is not a constant, but a contextual sensitive function. I couldn't wrap it in a other way. I'm a developer, sorry. So, like I said, it's a process, but a process is also nothing. So it's literally sensitive, context-sensitive function, which do one thing in one context, in other company, other market strategy, other market realities, it does in other. Developers and managers have to be flexible upon the requirements. It applies for both sides, that has to adapt to the needs, sometimes directly articulated, sometimes verbosely articulated, but we need to adapt to it. And if we are leading, also adapt the employees that we are leading. Everyone is shaping reviews with AI. And those who do not, they are lying about it. Just because the performance review, like every single person who raised a hand, probably hating the summer and winter times when they need to write all performance reviews for all the employees. Previously it was done manually, it was a massacre. Now when it can be sugar-coated in an easy way, people do it. Willingly or not, they do it. And the last one, performance review does not exist. That's supposed to be TLDR, but if I would put it there, you wouldn't listen, I think. It's basically like I said, the dance of two, and you need to trust your manager. Your manager have to trust you. Without it, the performance review will not be the one that you will enjoy and see a value in. And I truly think so, even though I didn't like some of those. Yeah, that's pretty much it.